Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Know Your Shit podcast, where our knowledge and pride in what we do drives us in the pursuit of excellence. My name is Josh Cadillac, and once again, you're stuck with me in the driver's seat for today's show as we learn how to stop chasing paychecks and learn how to start building a business and a life we can be proud of. We do that by talking to some of the most successful people in business and in life to see how they got where they are. We have a great show for you today because we have Dr. Whitney Wright with us. Dr. Whitney, thank you so much for being with us.
Josh, couldn't be more excited. Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure. So why don't you start off the way we always do by telling everybody what it is you do?
Sure. By trade, I'm an orthodontist. So technically I'm an orthodontist, but that then morphed into entrepreneur, which then led into mental health advocate as I was no longer able to practice orthodontics.
Okay. What got you started down this trail?
Well, I mean, in regards to speaking about mental health,
Yes.
I bootstrapped a $150 million dental and orthodontic company starting in Arizona. It went to 4 different states. It's still in 4 different states. I've got 27 different locations. And I burned bright and I burned hot and then I burned out.
Yep.
And I didn't recognize and realize, well, let me rephrase that. I recognized the red flags that were going on in my life. I just blew right past them thinking I'm Whitney Wright. I can do anything. And sadly, that was not the case. And panic attacks, severe depression, PTSD issues, anxiety issues. It was the whole thing. And ultimately, I had to stop practicing and check myself into a 30-day mental health facility just to scrape myself off the ground. And I'm actually no longer, I can practice orthodontics, but I don't want to poke the bear and have the panic attacks come back, all the PTSD issues. So having built the company, co-founded it, I'm now able to focus on a new mission in my life. Instead of transforming smiles, I'm helping hopefully to transform those who are struggling, specifically men.
Gotcha. Yeah, now those red flags are not just wall decorations as we go flying by. Oh, wow, that looks good over there. Yeah,
Isn't
I know
that
what
the
you're
truth?
talking.
Oh man, for sure.
As a guy that's occasionally guilty of burning the candle at both ends,
Yes.
I know what you mean, man.
Yes.
So, what do you like best about what you're doing now?
I like that I'm able to work with people one-on-one still, just like I would with my patients. I work with
Sure.
my patients one-on-one, help them to, correct their smiles and give them a new bright future. And I'm able to do the same thing here, but it's in a completely different way. I mean, I do personal coaching, but mostly what I enjoy doing is seeing men have the light return in their eyes, to feel hope once again, to know that they're not alone and that they're not forever broken, that they can get better. And that brings me a lot of joy. It really does. And also to see their spouses, their wives, say to me, "Thank you for helping my husband come back. Thank you for bringing back the joy and the spark in his life."
Absolutely. The thing that makes them, that's the thing. I mean, for guys, when we lose our direction, man, it's brutal. I have a gal that I know right now, and, like her husband is planted in front of the TV just watching YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what happens to guys. We lose our direction, and it feels like crap. Like it sucks being in that place because without direction, guys don't do well.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
Yes.
And what they'll do, and what we've noticed, is when men don't feel well, they'll do whatever they can to get the dopamine, to get the fix, to get the feels, right? And oftentimes that looks like video games. It looks like online gambling. It looks like porn. It looks like food addictions, drugs, alcohol, all of these different things, just to feel that dopamine again, just to feel alive. And the coping mechanisms that they employ oftentimes turn into addictions. And those addictions only make the problem worse. They are gasoline on a fire, and they will spiral so fast. And so it's crucial to recognize where you are at in the process and hopefully pull out of the nosedive.
Yeah, no, with the addiction comes shame, and shame is,
Oh, yes.
yeah, and that just piles on the need for more dopamine to kind of shut up, shame. I don't want to listen to you.
It's the worst. It's a terrible cycle.
Uh-huh.
It's called, it's known as a positive feedback loop, where if you have something that happens, more of this will happen, and they just feed on each other, and it's nasty.
Yeah, not good to be not be good to be the recipient
No,
of that.
not one bit.
So let me ask you this. We talked about the part you like best, but the show is largely entrepreneurs, largely people working for themselves, and you've worked for yourself, right? Um, People often talk about all the good stuff. What's the toughest part of what you find yourself doing? We know you enjoy what you do, but what's the part that sucks?
When I was working as an entrepreneur, when I was working at building offices and starting practice after practice, the part that sucked was that the pressure was on me all the time. And it wasn't just the pressure to be Dr. Wright, co-founder of Risa's Dental and Braces. It was the pressure to be the best orthodontist for my patients, the best dad, the best husband, the best civic leader, the best everything. And everyone was depending on me. And it was the pressure, the constant pressure that was on me all the time. And I felt like I couldn't get away from it, that there was no escape. That was the hardest part. And I'm sure I know you had difficulties, in your career. Everyone does. And I know that there are people listening who are thinking to themselves, that's me. I'm feeling that pressure and I can't get away from it. And I don't know what to do.
So I like to always put a fine point on things in the way that we tend to do things in this show, which is to just basically ask you this. What's the shit you know that makes you good at what you do?
I I know how to pull out of a nosedive, a
Mm.
mental health crisis, or the beginning of it. And that's because I have been through all of it and able to come back out of it. And so the shit I know is how to come back and be yourself when you feel like all hope is lost and when you feel like you can't find who you are anymore and you've lost direction. That's what I know.
So you know the road back,
I
and
do.
that is, it's always good to have a Sherpa when you're trying to go to unexplored
Exactly.
territory.
Yeah, a guide. You need someone. And the majority of these men who are struggling are high performers. And you can't just, something that I always say is you have to tell someone. You have to tell someone you're struggling. That is step number one. Because if you don't, it just continues to build because of that shame that you talked about, Josh, that makes us want to hide it. And the hiding it is the dangerous part because that's when it thrives. You have to drag it into the light, and you can't just tell anyone. If you tell people who are dependent on you for safety, security, such as your wife, your children, a coworker, or someone who works for you, the problem with that is they're going to freak out because the
Right.
person that they depend on, the
Is
pillar
you.
of their life, is cracking. And
Yep.
so you have to tell someone, but you can't just tell anyone. You have to tell the right person. And
And
that
somebody that knows how to handle it and what to
that's
do
right.
about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because you can't carry it alone. And once you tell that one person, the release valve goes off and you recognize that you're not alone in this and it can get better. But that's step number one. You have to tell someone.
Yeah. Admitting it. Yeah.
Yes.
No, that makes sense. You've kind of alluded to this a bit, but I want to give you a chance to build this out. At some point, every person that I know, every entrepreneur, every business, not just about everybody, but especially people that have gone on to do big things, they all seem to have this point where they hit rock bottom. Where was that for you?
Rock bottom for me was when I was driving to my office to see patients and I was crying and I didn't know
Mm,
why. And
mm.
I knew just dread. I was just filled with dread. And I knew that there was some sort of dumpster fire waiting for me at my office. I didn't know when it was going to happen, what it was going to look like, but I was going to have to put that fire out and continue to see 100 patients that day and possibly have a panic attack. Now, when I had my panic attacks, it's been years, thankfully, but when I would have them, what would happen is I'd be seeing a patient, I'd be working on their teeth, and I would break into a full body sweat. Within 90 seconds, my clothes were soaked. And I knew that, and then I'd start to hyperventilate. I knew I had about a minute before I was going to be vomiting uncontrollably on the floor, crying, unable to move.
Mm.
And it was a complete overtake of my entire system, and I couldn't do anything about it. And
Yeah.
my body recognized and realized that there was a safety release valve through a panic attack that would just empty me of all pressure and everything. And it was ugly, and I couldn't control when it would happen.
You know,
And go
it's
ahead.
interesting you say that. Years ago in my bodybuilding days, there's this phenomenon that occurs when you're bodybuilding. You're always pushing yourself to the edge of what you can do. Like the thing is always, can you to do the one set that nobody else, that one extra rep that nobody else is willing to do? So you're taking pleasure in your own misery, right?
That's right. Yes.
And there's this phenomenon that occurs where your body gets what's called overtrained. And what happens is your body literally puts you into a depression. Like you feel sad, like nobody likes me, the world sucks,
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Because in that position, there's no freaking way you're going to go to the gym and work out.
Agreed.
And so, like, it's amazing. I'm listening to you say this, and it really is. The body's like, hey, look, if we dump these chemicals with this, he's not going. We'll get the rest that we need. So
That's right.
I suppose it's a similar thing. Yeah.
That your body always wins. And it was interesting because my psychiatrist said to me, Whitney, right now it's panic attacks. Pretty soon it will be heart attacks. Your body will shut you down. You cannot continue to push it in this manner. You need to stop or you will die. And that was the wake up call, the true wake up call that I needed. And she said, if you don't go to this 30-day facility where you're going to be living in there. I mean, it is a hardcore treatment facility. I can't see you anymore because I will not be a part of your absolute undoing. You have to do this.
Party too. Wow.
Yeah.
Rough.
I mean, I was just
sorry.
severe workaholic. I was running from demons from my childhood, trauma, abuse, and issues that I was trying to bury under achievement and accolades. And
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize any of that. I didn't know any of that until I started really digging into it. And if you have demons in your past that you're running away from, you can never run fast enough. And if you don't dig those out of you, they'll win. And so that is a huge part of my story, is recognizing what it is in your past that is driving you forward in an unhealthy manner and getting those out of you so that you can actually heal instead of just cope and put band-aids on them and try to do your best to get by, when in fact you can take care of those things and you can thrive and you can just succeed.
Yeah. No, I mean, as I'm listening to you, the type A, I recognize in myself that I have an addiction to getting things done.
Yes.
Right? And I also know that I have a bit of an addictive personality in the sense that if I get into a hobby, like I get all in and so I recognize that I got to be real careful with this guy, because if I give him too much rope, he goes too far.
Absolutely. But only every single time.
But yeah, only all the time. So I actually almost have to frame resting as accomplishing something. Like, all right, your job today, your mission today, should you choose to accept it. Because
not beat yourself up at the end of the day for not being productive enough.
Correct. No, it has to be like, all right, that wasn't easy, but you got it done. I knew I could depend on you, kind of thing.
I love it. Self-care.
Yeah, it's a reframing to deal with the actual crazy that I know I'm dealing with. Like, I know I'm freaking nuts, right, in my own way. So, trying to work with what I know about myself. And obviously this is, not a medical professional here, but I've also had to take and get out of this guy a lot of stuff over time. And I got to make sure that if the car can't stay on the track, you're not setting any records,
No, exactly. You are a protector. As a man, you're a protector. You're a provider. You are someone who people look up to you. You are a pillar in their lives, and you feel as though you cannot falter, because if you do, you're going to be letting those people down. And so,
absolutely, a change in perception, how you're perceived, and what that looks like. This carefully orchestrated persona you've created.
Yes,
it is a thing. It's a very interesting. I've talked on it here before. It's one that always kind of stuck with me. I don't know why. Maybe because to me, I don't have a problem with it, but I always kind of felt badly for Derek Jeter on the last game that he played because he didn't want to let himself cry because he had this carefully constructed persona of that doesn't happen.
That's not
But
me.
yet you could see that that's what he wanted. That's what his body wanted. And I think it would have just given the moment that much more gravity, to let it be what it is rather than take and try to hold up this. And I would have probably liked the guy more than I already do. I mean, I always appreciated and respected what he did, but I think that people
Yeah.
maybe have a little bit more grace than we think that they do when it comes to, maintaining that respect for who you are and how you are through what you do. I don't know.
They're starting to, at
Yeah.
least, the pendulum is swinging the other way in that it is okay to not be okay. It's starting to be that way.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful because for decades, generations, men have been in a position where if they admit that they're struggling, they're generally cast aside and it's next man up.
Yeah.
And we can't live like that anymore. There's a reason why men ages 40 to or 35 to 50 are the highest suicide rate by huge amounts. It's because they don't feel like they're allowed to show weakness. And it's that fear, that shame that you were talking about, that then it drives them to an early end. It's terrible.
Yeah. No, you're most men spend most of their life not just trying to prove things to other people, but trying to prove things themselves.
Yeah.
Uh, you
That's
know, there's an amazing book. I don't know if you ever read it called Wild at Heart.
I haven't yet, but keep talking.
Yeah. And so there's a line in that book, and I've said it on here. So for my listeners, I apologize, but I'm really enjoying talking to Dr. Whitney here. So there's a line in there that I really resonated with me as I was reading it because it really hit on some things. So No More Mr. Nice Guy is always a book I enjoyed. It's a good book, right?
Yeah, great book.
This one, the difference with this one is a bit more religious. But the line in there that really stuck with me was every man in his heart wants to be William Wallace.
I love that.
But every man in his heart fears that he's the Bruce, which is the guy that brought his troops, knew what the right thing to do was, and ran away.
Yes.
And so there's this constant battle as men,
dude,
of trying to take and prove not just to everybody else, but to ourselves that we actually are what we hope to be.
That I can't tell you how hard that just hit me in the feels. Like, you want to be William Wallace.
Tear my guts out in front of me, and I'll still hold the freaking line.
I'm still yelling for freedom.
That's right. Yeah.
Or am I the Bruce to be safe? And
yeah,
dude, that is unreal. Thank you. Now that's my next book. Awesome. That just went to the top of my list for what I need to read.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's like to begin with, he lost me a little bit. It was a lot of camping stuff, and I'm like, look, I don't go on vacation for life to be harder than my normal life. Okay,
sure. Yeah.
But then he started hitting on some stuff, and I was like, yeah, that resonates. No, you got me with that one.
That's great.
And so it's crazy. We don't come with an instruction manual, right? And so we're trying to constantly figure out, what is this thing and how do I use this thing well, and what's good, and usually it's a feedback that we get of how we feel. But the problem is, like with any drug, it feels good up front, but then you need more and more of it, and then it becomes unhealthy, and then it's too much, and then you get sick. And an accomplishment, I think, is really that, and it's the one for me that I know that I have to like really watch myself with, and meter it out, because if not, I can be in the office till 2 a.m. and ready to go again at 6 a.m. and let's see when I fall off.
Yeah, I have to keep that work monster in its cage and use it appropriately, or else I will go off the rails. And as men, I'm a car guy. I'm a big car guy. I love classic cars. I've got a 73 Chevy Blazer. I've got an 89 Porsche 911. I mean, I love classic cars. And one thing I know is that if you do not take care of them, they're no longer going to be functional. And so if I'm redlining them all the time, if I'm not taking care of the basic maintenance, if I'm not doing what's necessary to ensure they're running at top potential, I can guarantee that it's going to come apart at some point in time. And that is just like us.
Absolutely.
If we do not take the time to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, doing our basic maintenance, doing the things that will keep us on the road, we're gonna fall apart. I mean, the wheels are gonna come off. It's gonna be ugly.
Absolutely. Well, one of the questions I like to ask people is, what's your chief piece of production equipment in your business? It's you, hands down.
You are the asset.
Yeah, it's you. Yeah, nothing goes.
Yeah, essentialism. Greg McEwen, you are the asset. Without you, I mean, that's it. I mean,
That's it. And so how do you take care of you? How do you take, I mean, like if I had a piece of equipment in my business that without that, I could not, nothing goes. What would I do? I'd make sure that there's surge protectors on it. I'd have a maintenance plan. I'd have a schedule. I'd have a tech, I'd have AI looking to see if there's anything like, I mean, there's all the stuff that I would do to make sure this cheap piece of prediction material equipment is up and running, because nothing goes without it. What do you do for you is the next obvious question, right? And so we definitely are hypocrites in our own right. We know exactly what to do. We just don't do it because we've gotten away with not doing it all this time. We've been going to the bank, making withdrawals all this time. And, some of us are pretty tough. Some of us have a pretty good bank account. We start, maybe the well's kind of deep, but eventually go to the well and there's just nothing left in there.
That's exactly right. Okay. That's exactly right. And one of the things that I talk about is if you have, so your buddy on the couch, just watching YouTube, if you get to the point where you have depression, I think of it like a bucket. If you have depression, it drills holes in your bucket, and it doesn't matter what you do to fill that bucket, it will never feel full, because you're just losing it because of the depression, and you have to get better. And sometimes that looks like medication. Sometimes that looks like talking to a therapist, your doctor. But if you feel like it doesn't matter what you do, if your hobby isn't recharging your batteries all the way, if time by yourself or whatever it is that you normally do, if that's not working, chances are you're dealing with something that is lying under the surface and is really taking you out, and you don't know it. And it could be, and it's very well likely, depression.
Yeah, no, it's a symptom of, right? It's like, hey, the car's not going as fast as it used to. Well, that's not an acceleration probably necessarily. It's a head gasket. It's something else. Something else is broken.
That's right.
And identifying where that is and what that is.
Yeah. So for me, the first thing is tell someone, then go get help, go get checked, get your blood checked, make sure your testosterone's okay, make sure that everything's looking good there. Once your T is functioning properly, talk to your doctor. You might have depression. It's okay. Everyone eventually has depression at some point in their life. And it's just like you break your arm, you need a cast. You've got depression, you might need meds. You don't have to need them forever, but just enough to where you can pull out of your nosedive.
Absolutely.
Get yourself checked out, because if you're not running at top ability, chances are you're just taken from an empty account, like you're talking about.
Absolutely. No, and I'm glad you brought up the T, man. That T gets out of whack, man. Everything goes to hell.
I know.
That is years ago when I first found out that because I've been on TRT for a little while. I went to the doctor, and I've been lifting weights for a very long time. But what actually was seeing was I was putting on weight, and all the things that I was doing to manage my diet, like it wasn't working. It's like, I'm getting older, but because I'm getting older. I mean, it was like in my late 30s.
Yeah.
Like, is that really what it is? So I went to the doctor, and and the lady in the front is like, well, I have this diet for you. You're going to be eating, kale beans and
kale and chicken. That's it.
Yeah, totally. I'm like,
yeah.
I've eaten so much freaking chicken breast in my life at this point, right? Like there was a point there we thought about blending the chicken breast just to try to get it in.
So bad.
Yeah, right. And so the doctor, who's like, there was a really cool guy, he gets my blood work back. He's like, oh my God. Okay, I know what the problem is. So he takes it and gives me an entire cc of test in my shoulder. And, like test doesn't work like right away. Like it takes the next day I woke up and like all the soreness that I just, cause like you lift weights, so you're like always sore. Like, why do I feel so good?
Like $1 million. What in the world?
What is this?
Yes.
And so, like it's amazing. Like there's just certain stuff that needs to be in the mix. And because of whatever the reasons are in society today, men's testosterone levels are falling off the table. And you don't have the stuff you need to take and function the way you need to. You got to get it right. So yeah, that's a big one, because that can put you in a tailspin.
So I have a crazy story. I saw my primary care physician, and I said, because my brother was like, Whit, I've got low testosterone. You should get checked out. So I got checked out. Or I went to the doctor. I said, hey, I'd love to get tested. And he looked at me and says, "Oh no, you have hair on your arms. You're just fine." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Oh yeah, no, we're not going to test you." I said, "You
Get a
real?"
different doctor.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. So I went and I got a new doctor, and they tested me, and I was critically low. I mean, almost double digits low. I mean, it was bad. And as
Yeah,
soon
yeah.
as they put me on the testosterone, it was like, I just like you said, like the lights just came on. I was like, there's Whitney again, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And so
I know this
anyway,
guy.
that's right.
Yeah.
There he is. Oh,
Yeah.
it's like in the movie Hook when they're like, there you are, Peter. Yeah.
It's crazy because you just kind of you lose yourself, and the thing is, you know the automatic response for people like us is just work harder. So like
Yes.
you don't realize it's just obviously I'm getting soft. That's got to be what it is, right? And so all right, we double down on pushing harder, and you just don't have what you need. It's bad stuff. So I want to ask you this on your journey. What was the thing when you were working for yourself that wound up being harder than you expected, or that surprised you at how hard it was?
Chips.
Ah,
I
yeah.
I went into business with my best friend from dental school. I thought I knew what that relationship was going to look like, and it took a turn I was not expecting, and I think that was probably the most difficult thing for me. I can't, because of legal reasons, get into any of the specifics on that,
Yeah.
but there's a reason they say that the ships that sink the most are partnerships.
Hmm.
And so dealing with someone who you're no longer on the same page with is probably the most difficult thing, because you are married to that person. And if it isn't aligned and if you aren't on the same page, it gets ugly, and it can get real ugly real fast. So
Ugly and
I'd say
expensive.
the most difficult thing for me was partnerships.
Okay. Um, you've now taken some time to step back. You've gotten, much different perspective on yourself than you had earlier, and that's going to help with this next question for me, which is one that I always like to ask about, kind of this 30,000 foot view, this outside view looking in at yourself. What in you, in your makeup, the kind of the way you came wired from the factory, would you say, is what has made you good at what you do?
I don't give up. I do not give up. I am Whitney Wright, and I can do anything. There is nothing that will get in my way,
Love
including
it.
myself. And I mean, from when I was, in second grade, Whitney Houston hit the big stage, and my life just turned. It turned ugly, as I started getting made fun of in second grade. But I can do hard things, and I can succeed, and I can and will succeed. And so, having that mindset ever since I was young has been crucial, because I'll have people in my life tell me, "Whitney, you're dreaming too big," or "You can't do that." Yes, I can, and I will. Just watch.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that because I was just giving a talk on Saturday for some guys, and I was talking about my mother just passed away, and
Sorry,
thank you, thank you, and in fact we buried her Monday, and
dude. My condolences. I'm so sorry.
thank you, man, I appreciate it. And I was talking about my mother's from Midwest, super hardworking person, super humble, just like there's nobody that had anything bad to say about her. I grew up, there was always somebody living in our house that needed help and needed a hand. If anybody didn't have a place to go for Thanksgiving, didn't matter how many people she had to cook for, never complained, probably did their laundry while they were there. I mean,
Yeah,
that's my mom,
the
right?
best, just the best.
Yeah, no, like I was super fortunate. My father was also a very generous guy too. Like it was very different. He's from New York, she's from the Midwest, right? But like the culture was, you help people, whatever. And so, I never really thought of it this way. I was talking to them about things that I learned from her, and I never really thought about it this way until I heard my brother was with my niece, and he was teaching her to skate for the first time. She was out there, and she falls down, and she like wants to take the helmet and throw it, and she's like, she's done. And he said to her, "In our family, we do hard things. That's what we do here, right?" And as I was giving the message to the guys, taking and saying, "This is Saturday," my mom, all right,
Yeah,
said, the guy who invited me to speak said, I gave him like two or three opportunities to take and defer because this just happened. And I said to him, I could not think of a better testament to my mother than to do the hard thing. And the hard thing was to take and do this today, right? Um, because that's how I remind me who I am and what I do. And it doesn't have to be a physically hard thing. I've worked grown men into the ground many, many times. And, I know I'm still going to be there when the whistle blows, and when they show up tomorrow, I might still be there for the day before, not having slept. I'm not afraid of working like an animal, but there's different kinds of hard, and that doing hard things and the confidence that's the thing, that's the confidence that comes with it. I know that if I have to do another hard thing, I've once again proved to myself that I can stand through this. And it's an important thing. I think it really, it's important to have those things in your life to remind you, closer to William Wallace, maybe a little bit, right?
Absolutely. I think
So,
that's I think that's perfect. I think that's a perfect insight.
so I want to ask you this: in business, in life, partnerships, all sorts of things. There's all kinds of disappointments and unmet expectations that come. Right? There's these hits we get, and as a kind of guy that you've already, you're the guy that keeps driving. You don't quit. You don't give up. How do you mentally manage yourself to take that Rocky Balboa, keep taking the hits and keep moving forward? How do you do that? What's that process for you?
For me, the process is I give people the benefit of the doubt. I I'm hoping that they are, well, let's see, how do I say it? I mean, Mel Robbins let them theory, but ultimately I come from a place where I expect people are giving me their best. And if they show me time and time again that they're not, then it's time to move on. But uh I just I would say just extending grace, but at the same time, I don't want to say I lower my expectations, but just make them known. Not hiding them, not expecting people just to know, but clearly communicating. And after I've clearly communicated, if you're still not getting done what needs to get done, well, then it looks like we might need to make a change. But I will look at myself first as a leader, and I will say, is this because of me? Is this my issue that I haven't trained them enough, that I haven't communicated enough? And chances are it does fall on me. I mean, Extreme Leadership, that book is crucial in recognizing that generally the buck stops with me. And if there's an issue, the people that I've hired are good people. And if they're not meeting the expectations, 90% of the time, it's because I didn't do my part to train and teach and elevate and hold to a proper standard.
Yeah. No, there's a book I just finished. It's called The Question Before the Question, I think is the name of the book. It's super short, but it was super good about very much the idea that you're talking about, this idea of extreme leadership. I want to make sure that I give you the correct title on it, because it was very, very good. It's one that, yeah, QBQ, the question behind the question.
Okay, question behind the
Yeah,
question.
yeah, it was like, I don't know, an hour and 45-minute book on Audible kind of thing. So
It's
somebody
pretty
recommended.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was super, super good. Just no BS, question behind the question, and what type of questions, who questions, why questions, and what they all mean. But um, once again, kind of one of those macro kind of questions. With the new perspective that you have, having gone through all that you have, what does success look like for you today? How would you define that?
Success for me today would be a healthy work life balance where I feel like I'm productive at work, but also in my home, with my family, with my children, with my wife, and that I feel as though I am not giving more or less to one or the other. That is probably the most difficult balance to find.
Mm,
And if you are good with setting up personal boundaries, you can get there. That is the key. Learning how to establish and maintain boundaries is what will keep you safe. It'll keep you within the guardrails. It'll keep you performing for years to come in the home, in the workplace, in any environment, because you are going to protect you first.
so there's a book, right? There's a book out there that you're working on, yes, or done.
It's out. It is.
Now,
It is out.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's an Amazon
So,
#1 bestseller,
love it.
and it's called
Ch-
Men under
Tell me
pressure.
about it. Who'd you write it for? What's it about?
I wrote it for men. I wrote it for all men and the people who love men who are trying to understand what it is that they're going through. And it's set up in a kind of a crawl, walk, run sort of philosophy of your mental health, depending on where you are in that journey. And so the first step is, what can you do yourself to start to feel better? Second step is, what outside help do you need to get? And that can be, like we said, testosterone therapy. It can be talking to someone about medications. And if you're really swimming in deep waters and you're struggling and you're considering self-harm in any way, then there's the real help. And I talk about those 30 days that I spent, what that looked like, the types of treatments that I underwent, and the change that that had on my life. And I not only include my story, but the story of 12 other men and their struggles and what they did to get better. And it's a roadmap for health and happiness and hope. And I put some jokes in there. I love pop culture. I love the 80s. Like, I mean, there's some good stuff in there. And anyway, I
What's the title?
it's called Men. It's Men Under Pressure. So here we go. I'll try to look handsome while I'm holding.
Men Under Pressure. Good
Men
stuff.
Under Pressure by Whitney Wright. It's on Amazon. I recorded the Audible. You can listen to it if you'd like, and it's something I'm very proud of.
Well, you just got one more sale because I just bought a copy.
Well, I tell you what, Josh, it's the 1 year anniversary of releasing the book. So through the end of this month, and I'll extend it for next month also, depending on your listeners when they hear this. I'll keep the digital book, the digital ebook, 99 cents. And so, yeah. So if you want the digital ebook, if you're not ready to spend, the paperback type of money or hardcover type of money or Audible type of money, 99 cents, you can read it on your phone, your Kindle, whatever. But absolutely happy to do that, and thankful that you would consider purchasing my book. Thanks, Josh.
No, I very much enjoy our conversation. Actually, I heard a joke. As a man that likes a joke, I just heard one. Somebody said, "I'm a trophy husband," but more like a participation trophy. I was like, "That's pretty stinking funny." I thought.
I like that a lot. I like that
Yeah.
a lot.
So,
Yep.
so Dr. Whitney, I want to enter kind of a lightning round, if you don't mind. Kind of just your first take on some questions, just to get people to know you a little better. What would you say is the most important thing you've learned in the process of doing all you've done?
The separation of myself from my ego, recognizing that Whitney is different than Dr. Wright, and that even though Dr. Wright might not be able to perform as he once did, Whitney is still valuable. He still has worth and has great things that he can accomplish. And it was that separation of ego that was the most difficult part for me, but in the end, the most rewarding.
Okay, good stuff. What are you most proud of in business you've accomplished?
We have 27 locations, 1,000 employees. We have a call center that takes 85,000 inbound calls a month for our dental offices. And the thing that I'm most proud of is the fact that we have given away over $13 million in free dental care to the communities that support us. And every year we do what we call our Labor of Love event. That's on Labor Day. And we open up all of our offices for free dental care for the communities. And we have lines around the building, and our doctors, everyone works for free, all the staff. And it's the thing that I'm most proud of in our organization is the free dental care that we've given.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, it's what good is all the money if you can't do something good with it, right?
That's exactly right.
I mean, it's to give you freedom, I suppose, but at the end of the day, freedom to do what? And it's freedom to do good things and make the world a better place because you were here.
Yeah. If you've lost who you are because of what you're trying to get, then what's the point?
Yeah. The goal is not to lose yourself along the way, right? That's got to be the thing.
Yeah.
Similar question, but a little bit more personal. What are you most proud of in life that you've accomplished?
I'd have to say my marriage and my 3 kids. We've been married. I'd say I just turned 46. We've been married for 23 years. And
Nice.
I've got 3 wonderful children. And the thing that I'm most proud of was in all of my struggles, all of my difficulties, I never stopped showing up as a dad and a husband. I put them first, above the company, above my profession, above everything else. They were my number one priority, and I still have them. And uh, our relationship is stronger than ever, and that's what I'm most proud of.
Love it, man. Good stuff. Keep the main thing the main thing.
That's right.
What's the one piece of advice you give our listeners?
It's okay to take care of yourself. It's okay to do some self-care. Self-care isn't selfish. One of the questions that I recently received was, how do I know if I'm just being lazy and self-indulgent, or if I'm actually doing self-care?
Yeah.
And the answer is, if whatever you're doing is recharging your batteries, if it's giving you energy that is lasting, if it's helping you feel confident and giving you the ability to keep moving forward in a positive way, that is self-care. If you're just vegging out and you feel guilty about it, and afterwards you feel like you didn't do anything, then you were just being lazy and self-indulgent and sitting on the couch and watching
Yeah.
YouTube.
If you feel fat and disgusting when
That's
it's all
right.
said and done.
Mission unaccomplished.
Yeah.
Did not hit the mark.
Pretty much not what we're shooting for here. All right, this is a
Failed.
tough one.
Okay.
This is a tough one. Possibly. Maybe you have this on lockdown. I don't know. What's the one book you tell people, besides your own? What's the one book you tell people, hey, look, if you're going to read anything, you got to read this? What's that book for you?
As an entrepreneur who is building a company, bootstrapped it, built it from nothing, I think the book that was the most beneficial for me, that opened up my vision, was a book called, oh man, how did I just forget the title? I just freaked out. It's called Creating Magic. Creating Magic. And it is by Lee Cockerell. And he was the COO for a long time for the Disney parks. And he talks about utilizing your teams in a way that will open up amazing opportunities. And he talks about how they intentionally use different smells throughout the park to drive revenue. There's a popcorn smell. And they have fans that are pumping this throughout the park. They've got churro smells. They've got all sorts of different smells. We integrated smells in our office. We created a custom scent, and every office smells the exact same. I'm a huge fan of the book, Raving Fan. So every time you walk into one of my offices, it's the exact same thing, and you're going to get the same treatment. And for me, I think that it was that Creating Magic that was the first real eye opener as a businessman of, oh, I can bring my personality, I can bring my imagination into what it is that I'm creating, and it will pay off.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. I like that a lot. I wrote it down. Favorite movie of all time? What's the one, if it's on TV, you're not changing the channel?
Oh, I would have to, I wanted to say Goonies, but I'm going to say Interstellar.
Okay. It's a good movie.
I just, everything about that movie, it just hits all the different points for me. But I am a huge movie guy. I've got a home theater here in the house, and we're always watching stuff. Anything, 80s, I don't know. What's your favorite movie? What's that answer for you?
You know, the one that I can't turn off whenever it's on is Shawshank.
So good.
It's so good.
So
that line, at the end where he's like, part of me is happy and part of me is sad. And then part of me just misses my friend. It's just, he does such a great job with the monologue, and it's a story of persistence and, just so many good things going on there.
Get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Famous person in history you'd want to meet if you could.
That's a great question. Dude, I'm just spacing out right now.
There's too many of them. I know.
I'm thinking of like past presidential leaders. I'm thinking about like all sorts of different George. Maybe George Washington. Just the gumption that it took for him to just absolutely upend everything and to do hard things over and over and over again.
And then to walk away.
Yeah.
and then the walk away, the
Yes.
Cincinnatus and all of that stuff, all the things that
Yes.
went on. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm remembering right. Chernow has a biography of Washington. Anything Chernow does, I'm like, I'm
It's
down.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Alexander Hamilton was so freaking good.
So
Like
good.
the one he did on Grant, the one on the thing on Netflix on Grant actually is really really good as well. I could not stop watching that, and I know the story pretty well, and it
Yeah.
was still excellent.
So good.
Similar question, but more personal. Who's the person from your past that you'd want to sit down with and have lunch with today if you still could?
I'd have to say my grandpa. Um, he was, I think, the first person in my life who saw me, and he would take me fishing. We'd go hunting. We would spend time together. I'm one of 9 kids. I'm the
Wow,
I'm the sixth of 9 kids, and I was invisible for years and years, and
sure.
he saw me, and I mean, the guy taught me how to. I mean, he used to say, I'm so good at fishing, I can catch fish in a dusty road. Like it was just fantastic. And if I could just one more time spend time with him, that would be amazing.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. What's the piece of advice you'd go back and give a younger version of you? What did younger you need to hear, Dr. Wright?
That it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no when you're overwhelmed. It's okay to say no when what you're about to do is going to ultimately deplete you for the benefit of someone else in a codependent way. It's okay to say no when you're overworked and they ask you to do one more thing. It's okay to say no when you don't feel comfortable with a situation or a scenario. And it's okay to take care of you.
Good stuff. Yeah, no, it's tough to sometimes do. So you have this entrepreneur thing, whatever this is that we got going on here, which means there's always another idea percolating. There's always something else. What's next for you? What's the next idea? What's the next project that is rolling around?
So I've written another book. It's for teenagers. Um, and
Nice.
that's and it's a book that I wish that I would have had when I was a teen. It's a great book. A lot of personal stories that a lot of which my kids have never read. And when they read them, they're like, "Dad, this is crazy."
Yeah.
And so definitely my teen book that will hopefully be coming out in another year or so. But just mostly just focusing on helping men to get better, to coaching, whatever that looks like. I'm planning on starting up another podcast and just just moving forward with helping men realize it's okay to not be okay and to talk about it, to tell someone, and to start the road to healing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. No, doing good work with that, and and the teens thing is huge too. Our guys are really struggling in the teens
Yes,
years right now. We got to get our guys back, back being men,
that's right.
and doing hard
Absolutely.
things.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Um, Last question I have for you, Dr. Wright. Where can people find you?
That's a great question. So, um, I'm on the socials, of course, but you can find all of those links on my website, menunderpressure.com. You'll find a link to the books, my socials, how to get a hold of me if you'd like, but menunderpressure.com is the best way to start that process of getting a hold of me and letting me know where you are in your journey and your process. And if you don't have anyone to tell me.
Good stuff. Dr. Wright, thank you so much for coming on. I've really enjoyed talking with you, sir.
It has been an absolute pleasure. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. So thank you very much for having me on. And thanks, Josh. It means a lot.
It was a pleasure. And I want to thank our listeners, guys. You could spend your time anywhere. Thank you for spending your time with us. And as I remind you every time, there's never a good excuse not to know your shit. Till next time.
Perfect.